Masterchief's open world escapades are delayed to next year, billion-dollar corporations go to war, and gnarly new MMOs are on the horizon. Ladies and gentlemen, this is episode 244 of the It's Obvious podcast. My name's Garrett Drake, and I'm joined online by Jacob Alka.
Good morning, boys.
Marnin and Preston Pugh.
Good morning, gentlemen.
So, Jacob, you're snacking on something, and Preston's drinking jalapeno juice. What are you snacking on over there, Jacob?
Having a pancake.
Oh, a pancake. Wow.
Your mom
made this, or did you make it?
My mother made this.
Nice.
I woke up, was going up to get some coffee. I fully expected just to have my French vanilla yogurt this morning, but to my surprise, there were hot cakes on the stove. And I was like, you know what?
No, I'd like one of those hot cakes.
Yeah, I've been a good boy. I'm going to have me one of them cakes. So I did.
What a morning for me, witnessing a hot cake. Enjoy a hot cake.
Oh, thank you. That's you're too kind. Now something's
Preston, how's
going
your spicy juice this morning? Is it giving you the kick you need?
Yeah, it's just as good as it always is.
Nice. Yeah, I'm happy for you both. I had a Wendy's bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit this morning.
They have
good
breakfast.
Technically sandwich. Do they have good breakfast?
I didn't know they had breakfast.
They do. I think it's relatively new, if I'm not mistaken.
It's been a few months, I think.
Yeah. So I've had it twice now. It's been good both times. But I was at my parents' house this morning, and we had just good conversation on their back porch, and it was just a beautiful morning. It was a cloudless day, birds chirping. It was wonderful. And then I returned to the city with gunshots and sirens, but that's quite all right. It's beautiful in Atlanta as well. And I'm happy to be here with you both. How was your week?
They were great. Or mine was. I shouldn't speak for both of us. Had a busy weekend. I did a little bit of work, got the notes done, and then I spent majority of the weekend in Atlanta. But we didn't do anything too crazy. Spent the whole Saturday pretty much at the pool.
Did you wear sunscreen this time?
What? Yeah. Well, thankfully it wasn't like super sunny all day, so it actually rained on us too. But we hung out and did that. Finished Aquaman Friday night, which I thought it was good. It was a little cheesy, for being honest, but had some good action, and it was just a solid movie all around. We wanted to watch Spider-Man Far From Home last night, but it wasn't on Disney Plus. It's only on Stars right now for some reason. So I guess the licensing deal isn't over for that yet. But I renewed my Disney Plus subscription last night, thinking the Spider-Man movies were going to be on there, but alas, they're not.
Alas.
But what else do we watch? I think we started the first episode of American Horror Story season 2, and we got halfway through it, and we just
that's the Asylum season, right?
Yeah. We just sort of stopped watching before anything happened. So I don't know if we'll go back to it. I don't know. I've talked about my gripes with that show. And I feel like we watched one other thing. I can't quite think of it. But anyways, maybe I'll think of it later. We went to this place called what was it called? It was some place off Lenox. It was Bucket Burger or something. Hold on. I sent the name of the place to a friend.
I know you sent it to me. I can't remember what you said, though.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure if
Bucket Burger
did or not.
Bold move going anywhere but Vortex or Grindhouse in Atlanta.
Yeah, it's called the Bucket Shop. They had this nice little outdoor patio area. I got this fried egg and bacon burger. It was very good.
Nice.
And we had these fried pickles as our appetizers, and the bad boys were good. Sort of it with some ranch. And I think she got a salmon, something boring, But
lame. Did you tell her it was lame?
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, you're lame for eating that fish.
We're gonna go to this burger shop and you're getting a fish. Okay. But those are pretty much the high points of my weekend. Still playing a little bit of games when I have time, and yeah.
Nice. What have you been doing, Preston?
Me, guys.
I know you Platinum Ghost.
I did. I Platinum Ghosts this morning. I finished the actual story last night. But I guess I can get more into that when we talk about games we've played. In terms of my week in general, same old for me. Just went to work, came back, and lived.
Nice.
Nothing too exciting.
About the same for myself. I did not play or watch anything this week, or anything that would be relevant to this podcast. So I just had a week of work as well. By the grace of God, I'm working fairly actively again, so I'm thankful for that. And yeah, excited to talk video games. We got plenty of news to get into, and I'd love to hear what you guys have been playing.
Yeah, I guess since I just brought it up, so I finished Ghosts last night, the main campaign, and pretty much the way that I played it, I was, I finished all the side quests before I would, continue the story, and I would do pretty much all the side activities. So when I, did beat the game, I think I had to liberate like one more area, and then I just went around and mopped up all the question marks, and there was one like secret achievement or trophy left. Those altars that have the sign of the dude bowing down at them, there's like 10 of those, so you just have to go bow to all those, and that was the final trophy I needed. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed the game. I believe a few weeks ago I said that I thought Horizon was better in terms of like where I was at Ghost of Tsushima, but I retract that statement. I believe this game is better now that I have finished it and put more time into it, and I've actually been playing a few hours of Horizon on PC. Whereas that's a whole nother story just in terms of the performance of Horizon on PC, which is not the best thing ever. It's 100% playable and stuff, but anyways, that's a whole nother story that I'll get into. But yeah, I really liked Ghost. I'm really excited to see if Sucker Punch is gonna continue it. It definitely ends with a like a satisfying conclusion, but like totally
open-ended.
Oh yeah, totally can. Whoa, man, excuse me. Totally can keep going, and I think they can do some really cool things. Probably the most disappointing thing in my opinion about the game is the side tales, how they ultimately wind up. It felt very just unfulfilling personally.
Yeah, like because no one really changes. It's just kind of we started here and we kind of end in the same place in a way.
Yeah, and especially like I don't think this is necessarily a spoiler because it's pretty much the structure of the entire game. It's when you get to these new areas, you're building up enough people to like attack the structure in the north. And that's how the final act is as well. Way shorter though, like surprisingly short. I think there was only like 3 story missions in the final act. But yeah, you get your teammates together and you're like going to finish the game, and there's an optional objective to go talk to them. And because the game wants to give you the option of finishing the side missions after you've completed the main story, the writing is just very like one note or like vague. They don't want to like acknowledge things that have happened because some players might not have done those missions yet. Does that make sense? It's like I finished Lady Masako's story and like I've gone through all this stuff with her. I, finished all that stuff, and then before the final battle, she's just like, "All right, let's do this." I'm like, "Really? That's all you're not gonna tell me anything like after everything?" And it makes sense. I'm like, "Oh, well, some people might have literally done 2 missions with her, so they have to like write for that, I guess." So that was kind of a bummer. And of course, it's like, well, I don't want to say one thing because I think it's a very obvious spoiler, but just in case I don't want to say it. But yeah, what else? Yeah, I thought those just weren't super fulfilling the way they ended. Main story though, I thought it ended really cool. Kind of surprised me at the way that they ended it, and I appreciated that. Yeah, I thought it was great. I really hope there's DLC because even when I finished up the trophies, I still had the urge to play more. So I hope I can go back to that world at some point. The only other thing I played was Horizon on PC, which if you follow that at all, it's been a whole like hullabaloo in terms of some people not even being able to start the game on PC. To if they can get it started, that it's just running like poo poo. I'm very much in the middle. I couldn't start it originally, and then all of a sudden it worked, and I have to lock my FPS, not in game. Like I have to use like Riva Tuner to lock my whole PC to 60 FPS for it to be not stuttery. Because I can get like if it's unlocked over 100 FPS in like 1440p high settings and everything, but just like I don't know if it's the frame pacing, something is so super stuttery. So I just have to have it locked at 60.
That's a big bummer.
Yeah. When I do that though, it's fine. It looks good. It plays good. It's like 1000% playable that way. It's just not, it's not optimal. So I'm still having fun with it. But yeah, after playing Ghosts and stuff, the game just feels very small and like a little claustrophobic. Like it, because you can't just go climb things. I guess it was kind of like the way that I felt having played like Breath of the Wild after that game, where I was like, man, there's so much freedom in this game. Whereas coming from Ghost of Tsushima to this, I feel like I'm like in a bubble playing this game because I can't, jump and explore and like just climb over mountains and stuff like I can in that game. But the combat is very much improved with mouse and keyboard, having the ability to hit the various parts of the robot dinos. It's just a lot easier obviously with mouse and keyboard, so that's fun. Looks good, still a really, really fun game, so I look forward to continuing to play that alongside Persona 5 Royal until something else comes out. So, but yeah, that's pretty much all I've played, even though, yeah, I wasn't here last week, but I was pretty much doing the same thing as well. So that's pretty much all I've done.
Nice. Well, I don't know if I'm going to play Horizon on PC. I know I said I wanted to, but I've seen it in action now and briefly felt how it feels to aim the bow on your rig last night, which I forgot to mention. I did have a fun event this week. I spent some time with Preston and his family last night. Preston and I played a fair amount of ping pong, and not even really competitively. We just volleyed back and forth while talking about our passion for video games for like an hour. It was great. And we fantasized about the potential of a Tomb Raider reboot. We reminisced on the excellence that is God of War and PS4. Talked about Cyberpunk, talked about all the news that we're actually talking about today. We basically had a pre-podcast to this episode, but it was a lot of fun. So that was the highlight of my week. I take back what I said earlier. But having seen Horizon in action, like you said, I totally agree. It looks great. Seemingly runs well at 60 FPS. But I don't know if I'm going to replay it. I have no idea. I guess because, when I think about it, realistically, my rig could probably handle that game at 60 FPS at most, and not much further beyond that.
Well, so, no computer can at this point.
Right, exactly. So even if the game in general ran better than that, on average, never peak beyond. Unlike a modern game, I rarely peak beyond like 90, 100 frames max. So it's not that much of a difference, but I don't know. It's definitely on my backlog. We'll add it to the ever-growing backlog. And I was telling Preston, once I finally wrap up Tsushima, which hopefully will be within the next week or two, like I've said, I have full intention of going into Persona 5, but I've been thinking about it more and more. I'm going to start it, but I will probably not finish that game for years. Because I don't have, when I'm working actively, you guys know this, I maybe have an hour or two to play games every week. And think about that, break down that game over a period of months. Like maybe an hour or two a week in Persona 5 is a long time. So
that's how I feel playing Ghosts. I have like an hour or two, maybe every day.
Yeah. And that's the shame of Persona is because I've played enough of it. I've played roughly 20 hours of the original game. And I know that it thrives when you can play in long spurts at a time. And I don't feel like it's as satisfying when you're just playing little bits at a time. So maybe my plan will be I will set time aside for once or twice a month to just take 6 hours out of a Saturday just to sit down and play it and do it over a period of like 2 months and get 6-hour chunks at a time till I finish it. I don't know. But that's my plan going forward, of course, anticipating Cyberpunk. And that's it for my foreseeable gaming future. What about you, Jacob? What have you been playing?
Just the same things. Ghost of Tsushima. I just got the I forget what it's called. It's the orange armor. You get it from the 6 keys.
Gosaku?
Yeah, Gosaku. Thank you.
Yep.
That armor looks cool. I like how it looks. I bought some dyes for it, but I like the orange color of it so much that I've just sort of kept that on there.
That black dye on that armor looks sick.
Oh yeah, I'll have to look out for that.
Have you found the black armor merchant?
No, please tell me where that is. Do you know?
I describe it as the very middle of the map, sort of in a forest.
Okay.
He's in a cave.
He's in a cave. Is he like marked?
He's a question mark. Yes.
Yeah, he's a question mark.
That's cool. Does he only sell black dye?
Yes.
Is that why he's there?
Mm-hmm.
There's a white dye merchant as well.
Okay.
I like how the black dye merchant's in a cave and the white dye merchant's up in the mountains.
Yeah.
Oh, that's actually really cool.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I'll have to look out for that. Is he like in the second, like in the middle of the map?
Yes. The black dye merchant's in the second area, white dye merchant's in the first.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to be on the lookout. I still have so much to do. I think it was 2 nights ago when I last played. I finally got to the point where I was going to do another main story quest. So I think I approached. I'm like going to recruit some more samurai or something. So I'm like on the way to go do that or something.
From the Yabi Kara, I believe.
I think that sounds familiar.
That clan, yeah, the clan that led the rebel against your uncle or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. That's a really cool mission.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm doing that, and I touched a little bit of WoW this week. I think I'm like done raiding for the time being. I kind of don't really want to put the time into doing it anymore. My quest for the weapons might just end because I'm getting kind of not like drained of WoW, but you know I want to make time for other games like Ghost, and I need to get Ghost done. So I'm going to start putting some more time into that this week, I think. And that's sort of my plan anyway. I'll still hop on to WoW and maybe farm some mounts throughout the week, but that's sort of my plan going forward. And I think that's about it. I don't think I played anything else. Yeah, nothing's coming to mind. So I'd already talked about what I watched. So did you guys actually watch anything before we actually get into the news? Anything you want to share with the folks?
I've watched nothing, unfortunately. I've just had zero urge to watch.
Oh, here's one thing I didn't talk about. I finished Erased. That show is so good, man.
It is.
That last episode like blew my mind. I didn't expect that ending at all, and I didn't expect like I can't really say anything, but I just didn't expect how things played out, and it was really cool and really satisfying. And
I'd like to rewatch that at some point because I remember key moments, but I don't remember the entirety of it, and I just remember thoroughly enjoying every single episode.
I watched 11 out of 12 episodes in 1 week. It's very easy just to binge it.
Yeah. I haven't gone back to Hunter x Hunter, man, and I question if I will, if I'm being honest.
You keep saying that.
It hasn't grabbed me, dude. I've seen like 21 episodes, and I'm just not that into it. And
well, I see where it's
anymore. And I know there are many arcs that people claim are really amazing in that show, but just the initial arc, if it doesn't grab me, it's just not worth it to me. And on paper, I like the idea. These 4 misfit characters join together to go on this challenge for the Hunter's exam and have to pass all these insane tests that have all been very entertaining, granted. It's still just a very, very slow burn in the beginning.
You're not even at the good parts yet.
Oh, no, that's why
you got to get through the Hunter exam. Garrett.
That's why I'm undecided, because if I can get through the Hunter exam, then I feel like I can make a better decision. Speaking of conclusions. Last night I had Hawaiian pizza from Little Caesars, and in Hawaiian Pizza's defense, Little Caesars is not AAA pizza, as we know.
AAA.
I did not like it at all. And Preston claims it's much better at Pizza Hut, and he thinks that chicken is better than ham, even though ham is the original idea for Hawaiian pizza with the pineapple.
Why not put both?
Not for me. Not for me. So I stuck to
I'm not a big fan of ham
vanilla
in general, like even on sandwiches or anything. Like I'm not a ham guy.
I love
I'm a ham man.
sammies.
I love ham.
I'm not. I've never been a big fan of ham. I'd always take chicken or turkey or anything over that.
See, I usually like ham because it's not as dry as those two other meats.
Yeah. Was it too much to ask for both, man? I like doing all three, just the two sometimes on a sandwich.
I mean, if you want to buy all three meats, by all means.
Well, I wasn't the chooser of Little Caesars last night. That was out of my decision. So I worked with what I had. I wanted some pineapple on my pizza, so I went for it. But yeah, it was okay. But that's the thing, Garrett, is like, let's be honest. You're not gonna like pineapple on pizza, even like Pizza Hut. I just don't think you will.
The difference is I'm still willing to give it a shot.
I appreciate it.
Because if you claim it's better at Pizza Hut than at Little Caesars, I'll take your word for it and try it.
Yeah, I just think the pizza in general at Pizza Hut is better than Little Caesars as well.
Oh, unequivocally. Absolutely.
So that alone helps when you're putting something you might not like on just a better pizza. I'm assuming you're probably going to like it more.
As a former Pizza Hut pizza boy, I do recommend Pizza Hut.
And chief of Wing Street.
And head chief of staff of Wing Street, USA. I can confirm Pizza Hut is much better than Little Caesars. Not much better. I shouldn't say much better, but it's
dude. I
better.
will say it's much better. I'm a big fan of pizza. I would consider myself, like, if there were a fan club, I would sign my name to a Pizza Hut fan club. I completely understand the level of pizza it is, but I really appreciate it.
You know, the two times I've had pizza or Pizza Hut in Los Angeles, it's been the best Pizza Hut I've ever had in my entire life. Wow. Both times. I don't know why that is. Maybe they're just extra passionate on that side of the country, but it was unforgettably good.
Mm-hmm. Anytime I get pizza, it's Domino's, and I'm still pretty obsessed with Domino's. But I haven't had Pizza Hut in years at this point. So,
man, Pizza Hut, I don't even think it's a debate at this point about the whole which delivery pizza chain restaurant, whatever, has the best wings. It's like, it's not debatable to me. If you think Domino's or Papa John's have better chicken than Pizza Hut, then you're a psycho. It's like, oh, I would much rather have these little mutant wings that are like the size of my thumb over like an actual meaty Pizza Hut wing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean, Jacob?
I know what you mean. I agree with you.
I align with that.
Although I haven't had the wings in a long time, I do remember them always being really good. And
I get them
much bigger.
Get them every weekend. They're very tasty.
You just pump those puppies full of antibiotics and you're good to go, brother.
Oh yeah.
Isn't it weird that pizza places have wings? I guess it's not weird, but it's just like, you know, they just thought that they needed wings to be at their fast food pizza chain. And now every one of them have them.
Pizza and wings is just a match made in heaven.
It's a good combo. I agree.
It's a great combo.
Because you can use ranch with both of them.
Yeah.
You can, if you get too tired of the pizza, you take a little break, have some wingies, and then you go back. You know, it's great.
Yeah, I enjoy I have to have boneless wings though when I'm eating pizza, because I don't want to stop and pick up the wing and nibble at it. I just want to be shoving things in my face as fast as possible. So
I understand.
Boneless wings are great for that.
That's great, guys.
I don't think there's any better segue than that to jump into the news. Halo Infinite's been delayed to 2021. We heard this the beginning of the week, so this is sort of old news, but how do you feel about that before I even read about what Phil Spencer has to say?
Coming from your resident, like, president of the PlayStation fan club over here, I'm disappointed. I was actually looking forward to playing it. I was looking forward mainly to, like, with it being free to play just and cross play, just being actually a part of a Halo launch that, you know, everybody is a part of, and, you know, potentially getting together on, you know, a few nights or on the weekend and stuff and playing, you know, through the night with you guys and actually, you know, assuming it was good and stuff, getting into it and stuff. I don't know, just the concept of that was very exciting to me. I think the it's kind of lackluster as the campaign looked. I still thought it had potential to be, you know, good fun and stuff. So yeah, I was looking forward to it, but it's not surprising. I think the reception they got was probably not what they wanted. So
Yeah.
probably, you know, at the end of the day, it's a good thing that they're, you know, deciding to put some more work into it.
For sure.
How do you feel, Jacob?
Obviously I'm disappointed. I like Preston just said, I was still looking forward to the game regardless of, you know, the perception that we, or the not perception, the just what we saw at the Xbox showcase. It's kind of disappointing because, I mean, Xbox is still gonna have a great launch. They still have Game Pass, which has, you know, just probably thousands of games on it at this point. So there's gonna be plenty to play on your new Xbox when you get it. But it's just disappointing that it's not going to be launching with the Halo like they planned, like we expected to have, which really could have helped out console sales for sure. But like I just said, you know, Game Pass is more than enough for most gamers. And, you know, while they don't have like this launch exclusive anymore, I still think this is best for Halo. And I think it's probably going to be a better product because of the extra time that they need. And hopefully it's not too late into 2021 because I am really excited to play the game, and you know, it's just like I said, it's a little disappointing that it won't be coming out this fall.
Yeah, the only reason I never considered the possibility of it being delayed was because it was initially a launch title, and for a next gen console is a big deal, and that is Halo is obviously the flagship title for Xbox, and so I figured, you know, in spite of how poor this looks in its initial presentation, I can't imagine them delaying it, and so that was a huge surprise for me as well. And I'm of course disappointed because I was looking forward to experiencing it, regardless of all the glaring issues that they had in that demonstration. But like everyone has said, I mean, we're all accustomed to delays at this point. This one's a bit more impactful, like we said, because it was intended to be a launch title, but I know we're all patient men, and as much as I love Halo, I don't think any of us were just salivating for this game. Like, just could not wait to play it. Of course, we want to play it, but we're not that eager. Mm-hmm. So we can wait, and obviously 343 will, I imagine, polish it up. And I'm interested to see if they change, like, heavily redesign things, or if they change some systems just based on really popular feedback. I think it's safe to assume the grunts will be redesigned a bit. Not the grunts, the brutes, the banished, I should say. So, yeah, I know Phil Spencer had mentioned, I think it's so funny, he was on Gary Wood's Animal Crossing talk show to talk about this, which is hilarious. But he shared that they had discussed the idea of releasing the game in segments, and I imagine he means we'll release multiplayer, or we'll release some other mode that's in the game, and then we'll release the campaign later. That would have been horrible. They had done that. It would have been a terrible idea. I believe that's a possibility, but I think the majority of Halo fans, especially really popular Halo YouTubers I keep up with, have all unanimously said that this Halo needs to launch like the old Halos did, with the full package, unlike Halo 5, for example, that I think Forge and Theater Mode and a couple other features weren't there at launch. So they claim that the game needs to launch with its campaign finished and polished, multiplayer, theater, Forge. I think Forge was also missing from Halo 5 initially. All those features should be present at launch, and I agree with that completely. So hopefully that will be the case. And people wonder if it'll be, I think the earliest people predict is summer of 2021, but I would not be surprised at all if it's another year at this point. So
That's
we'll
crazy.
see. Speaking of Halo, though, I randomly was suggested a Halo 5. I don't think it was a pro team, but it was a really talented Halo 5 competitive team that was playing in the finals of some Halo 5 tournament that's just in the game. And it was really entertaining. I was reminded, like, as much as I disliked Halo 5's campaign, I really did have fun with the multiplayer. And the way they communicated and played this capture the flag match was just really exciting to watch. And it kind of made me want to revisit Halo 5 for a bit, the multiplayer at least. So, yeah, bummer for Halo, bummer for Series X at launch, but they have Game Pass, and we'll see. And apparently, Phil Spencer says they have a few more announcements to make prior to the console's launch that are pretty exciting. So,
okay, Phil.
We'll see. Miles Morales will get a full arc in Spider-Man PS5. This is thrilling news. I think I think we all had assumed this just based on the trailer. We knew it wasn't DLC, but it is a full arc for Miles and picks up after the first game. And it's not a formal sequel to Spider-Man, but bridges the gap between, I imagine, the first and second game. So it'd be cool. I think we'll obviously get a tease for the full official sequel at the end of Miles Morales, but Preston and I were talking about this last night. We're just excited to see how it differs visually. I'm really excited for the animations for Miles. I mean, it looks like in the trailer his animations are drastically different from Peter Parker's.
That's good.
But not just in terms of his abilities as Spider-Man. I would hope that he just even appears much different in the way he moves and fights. And I like the idea of him being pretty inexperienced fighting crime. So I'd love if he can obviously be powerful, but his animations reflect that of someone who is not truly harnessed and mastered his abilities.
Yeah.
I think that'd be really cool. And then of course in the actual sequel, maybe more time has passed and he's a bit more polished as a superhero. Mm-hmm. But you excited about that news, Jacob, that it is definitely a full arc?
For sure. Yeah. Not that I didn't think it was not, or that I was going to be, when they announced it, but it's just good to hear. Excuse me. It's good to hear that, like, as they were making this, not DLC, but this side off story, they realized that the story that they wanted to tell was, it deserved a full length story. It deserved more love than maybe they initially thought it needed. And through the development of the actual game, they wanted to make sure it was a full on experience. So that's really cool to me. And like I've said, this probably is the reason why I'll pick up a launch PS5. So I'm excited for sure. And hopefully,
I'm going to be honest. If there was if the YouTube app was the launch exclusive for PS5, I'd probably still get it.
Well, you're clearly a much bigger fanboy than me, but
clearly,
I need that experience for sure.
Hey, Poobah, your mic sounds pretty scratchy all of a sudden.
Oh man, it doesn't surprise me in the slightest. Let me reboot it.
No worries, brother. No worries. Apple kicked Fortnite off the App Store for violating their terms of use, which does not surprise me just reading into it and watching videos about this. It is a completely ridiculous situation.
Yeah.
And, I think it's hilarious that Epic had that animation prepared to really stick it to Apple, bro.
Yeah, they definitely haven't been planning
blatantly violating their terms of, hey, thanks for the platform. We're just going to take all the money for ourselves, even though you've given us this platform to present our product. It's like a farmer's market accepting like fruit from a local farmer. I mean, like, okay, now that you're selling your fruit here, we got to take a cut because, we're giving you a place to sell this. And be like, no. I'm just going to like take your space that you built and just take it all for myself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's like the very simple way of putting it. I know it's far more complicated than that, but hilarious situation. I'm not all that interested. It's just kind of amusing to me, and it'll be kind of fun to keep up with for the foreseeable future to see how it plays out. And I get too. I mean, the argument for, of course, many creators on the App Store believe that 30% of the cut is pretty demanding, and I was actually surprised by that number when I heard 30%. I can understand like maybe 20 max. But 30% is quite a bit. Mm-hmm. So that was pretty alarming to me. But I don't have a side to take. I don't really have strong feelings toward the situation. I would just be interested to seeing it play out and see how it affects. I don't know
one thing that like annoys the crap out of me about like buying real money or buying currency in games is that you can never just buy what you want. Like you have to either buy the $4.99 bundle of currency, the $9.99 bundle.
That's how they keep you locked in. It's like you have to
Yes.
wisely choose the items based on the currency pack you pick.
It's so dumb. And then like you have this extra currency that you might not ever use, but just because you had to get that amount of currency because that was your option. It's dumb. It's like a way to squeeze money out of people. That's the only thing that I don't really like about, just buying currency in games. As far as like Apple and actually Google also took Fortnite off the App Store, their own App Store too. So it's not just Apple, it's Google too.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's hard to really be on Epic's side here. I mean, you could be because they're sort of fighting for developer, I guess rights or for on the app stores. But at the same time, they've obviously violated Apple's terms, and it's hard to really be on their side. Like I kind of get it, and I also don't get it. It's like maybe there was a better way to go about this. Maybe not. Maybe they've tried other things. I really don't know, honestly. But it kind of sucks for all those people that love to play Fortnite on Google Play or the App Store. They're kind of just out of luck for the time being.
We'll if Epic wants all that money to themselves, it's got to be exclusive on the Epic launcher, and that's it. They want to take it all for themselves. So,
and actually, you can still play it on the Google or on Android phones. You just can't play it through the Google Store because I think on Android phones you can buy apps through other mediums or other.
There you go, Preston.
So
you can pick up Fortnite on your phone and still play it.
How do I sound?
You sound good.
You sound pretty good.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to go through like stores on Android. You can just I think originally Fortnite was just like a something you downloaded to your phone, like not even through a Google Play Store or anything.
Could you just like go to the website or something?
Yeah, like you just download it like you would on a PC.
Gotcha.
So
yeah, I know the App Store it's pretty much the only place you can download apps on the iPhones. So
yeah,
them.
Yeah. I mean, iOS is a very like strict, not very open platform, which that's why some people don't like it. I think it definitely has its place because there are a few issues that I've had with my phone, like things that should be extremely easy that are needlessly complicated, and in those situations I'm like, man, this is what iPhones do really well, is it makes these things super easy. I'm talking like as easy as like connecting things to Bluetooth and like my car and stuff, and just really simple stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that's why Apple's had a lot of success just in their their devices, just everything they do.
The user experience is just super simple, really easy to understand, and it it's clean. So
yeah, I fully expect to see more development on this story. I don't know if we mentioned it, but Epic filed some legal paperwork, so it appears they're going to be going to court. So we'll see what happens during this. I think they also filed papers against Google. So I mean, they're going to be spending some money, everyone. So we'll see what happens.
We'll see. I mean, I saw that Fortnite is I think it makes the most money on the App Store. A chart I looked at said it was making like, I don't know if it was yearly or something, but it had like over $1 billion next to it or something like that. So if there was any app to kind of like test what Apple is going to do, I mean, it's this one. So I don't know. Like I completely agree with Garrett. It's like I really don't care enough to follow it. I'm just interested to see what happens.
It's hard to make sense as to why it makes the most money in there too, because on your phone it's just so much easier to quickly purchase things versus on console or PC. You got to go through like different menus and stuff. I mean, I guess it's all mostly the same, but there's just something so intuitive and fast about just using your thumb to like navigate through menus and buy something.
Yeah.
And I know for me, purchasing things on my phone is always much less of a like confliction for me for some reason. Like if I'm on like my PC or laptop or like a console, I think hard about what I'm buying, but on my phone I rarely think twice for some reason. I don't know why that is. So I get why, like from Epic's perspective, I get why they want to be liberated from Apple's cut, but and I'm sure there's more to it than that. But like I said, it's just silly.
Yeah, I think that's why they tried to introduce their own currency within the game itself, because they felt like, you know, the mobile apps were trying to take too much money from the consumers instead of like, you know, I don't know all the details. I should have read up a little more on this than I have, but you know, that's sort of like the gist.
I know that if you chose to buy through Epic, it was, you know, cheaper as well, which of course, like, I think, like, who wouldn't want to pay less money?
Yeah, exactly.
So that was like, you know,
which is just against the guidelines of the App Store.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but I don't think there's too much more to say.
Which understandably so. Yeah. Whatever.
Maybe this is what Fortnite needs. Maybe Fortnite just needs to go away. It's time to shine away. I
know. Ashes of Creation discussion. I haven't seen the whole video, Jacob. I'm sorry. I've seen half of it.
Gary, you blew it.
I watched, I think, 3/4 of it, and pretty much that. I'll let you talk, but just my overall thoughts was just like, there's no way this is gonna be a thing.
Yeah,
it's like,
it's ambitious.
It's like a game that like we would sit in our like bedroom, like staring at the ceiling at like 2 a.m.
just like fantasizing about it.
Yeah. Yes.
It's like, if a perfect game exists, this might be it.
And it's funny too. I mean, let me read this question from Epic, and we'll get into it. Mainly
sure
a question for
Apache?
Jacob. It's not Apache. Mainly a question for Jacob regarding MMOs. But have any of you heard of a new MMO being developed called Ashes of Creation? And if so, what are your thoughts? It's being called the WoW Killer. If you haven't seen it, watch Lazy Peon's video about it on YouTube. Hope y'all are well. Ninja, Epic, we miss you, and we're doing well, and we hope you're doing well also. What's funny about this video is that when it's explaining all these in-depth systems, which I do want you to take the reins on, Jacob, what I'm thinking the whole time is these are great if they exist within the game, but you also have to rely on real human beings actually engaging in all these things.
Yeah. Well, that's the idea behind an MMO, right? Is to have like a complete player-driven community.
Right, and then but actually having the players do those things that are in the game the way they've designed them to be
they
played
envision them
is a whole nother question.
Yeah.
But
yeah, there's several systems like that could, you know, just not work out because players are not cooperating.
Right.
But I think we'll get into those a little bit.
Well, it's all you, Jacob. You hold the baton.
Yeah, I watched this video, and I wanted to, you know, just turn this into a whole discussion because the idea of the game itself really fascinated me, and I just think like there's so many not unique things necessarily. There are some unique things that this game is trying to do potentially, but just the fact that it's trying to do all these things and within, you know, and this game was completely funded by some rich business guy, and it's just, I've seen interviews of this guy talking to creators and whatnot, and he seems like a passionate guy. He seems like he knows what he's doing, and he's already been building this game with a team for a couple of years now, and just watching some of the footage that was in Lazy Peon's video, it certainly seems like the game's coming along pretty fairly well. So, you know, it just got me excited, and I wanted to talk about it a little bit, but I highlighted a lot of the key points on our notes here within the video, and I just wanted to sort of touch bases on them, and then I guess just sort of get some of y'all's thoughts here at the end of, you know, do you think this will actually happen like Preston was saying? Do you think, do any of these things excite you? That kind of stuff. But sort of like the whole foundation of the game is that there's going to be this node system, which basically, like, think of different zones on a continent, sort of like a WoW, I guess, or any other kind of MMO. But these nodes are completely like player driven. You sort of like develop them as you like do quests, you farm resources, that kind of stuff. And it's cool because in each zone you're sort of like building up what it could potentially be, and players are, you know, completely controlling that. And like it's the idea of that's pretty cool to me. But also, you know, is there going to be like some sort of player griefing? Is there going to be like, are people not going to make the right kind of zones, and like servers won't have the right kind of resources? I'm sure there's going to be systems in place to, you know, prevent that sort of thing. But definitely the idea of this sort of thing is, it's kind of appealing to me. And then alongside that, there's going to be like sort of mayor elections. So within each of these zones, you're going to have elected mayors, which are actual players who are elected by other players in the zone or on the server. And they're, I guess, going to make decisions for people within the realm, which, that's a lot of power given to someone in an MMO, which is, it's kind of compelling if you're, a player and you sort of desire that sort of control, that importance, I guess, which, and the more that I watched this video, it reminded me of the show Sword Art Online, not literally, but like just some of the things that like would happen in the show. Like some of these systems seem to like sort of, not copy, but, they do sort of the same things. And like, it would be sort of similar to be like if this was your life in this MMO, it kind of reminded me of Sword Art Online. There's going to be open world PvP with an anti-grief system. There's not going to be any way to like turn off PvP. It's always going to be active. If you see another, I don't exactly like know how the factions work or the races. Like, I don't know if like each race is against each other or if it's like just zones that are against each other. I didn't really pick up on that. But or maybe you can just PvP anybody at any time. Maybe it's one of those kind of deals.
I think that's what it said. What I listened to.
But to combat that, there will be like a pretty strict anti-grief system. If you kill several people over and over again, you're going to start taking more damage. You're going to lose your items when you die. It's going to be it's not going to be something you're going to want to like just grief people all day, because you're just going to be really at a huge disadvantage and will probably lose progress on your character. I think they actually talked about losing levels too. So
I think they said you become like corrupted, and that the corruption would be higher if like a really high level player killed a really low level player.
Yeah.
Like it would affect them more so. So it would really be like there would literally be no point in like a max level character just like farming, new people playing.
Sure, for sure.
It would just, negatively affect them.
So I know, so they had these things called the castle sieges, which are what the video said was 250 versus 250 players. So that just in itself sounds really crazy to me. I think it's, doesn't ESO have large scale PvP battles? I think Black Desert also has this.
Yeah. I remember ESO did, like, you would take over castles, and kind of like the system you're talking about, a king would be appointed. And I think they would have a set amount of time to like be the king. And I remember that because that was a trophy on PlayStation, and I'm like, yeah, I'm never gonna get that. Like, that's got to be like one of the rarest trophies ever.
For sure. If they can get that to work with, like the fear with that is that lag is going to be a huge issue. I just that's a lot of people in one battle. Like the idea is very cool, obviously, and I just I'm no game designer. I don't know if this is possible. I'm sure they wouldn't have said it if it wasn't, or if it was, if it was not. But it's just, I don't know. It's one of those things like, is this actually going to be how it works? Like, are there actually going to be 500 people in one battle on this one server fighting? I don't know. Then they have cool things like guild wars, which are literally battles between guilds. I think that idea is cool. It's not really something that I have a lot of experience with, but rivalries are definitely created within MMOs, within different guilds, and it's cool to see like there will be a way to sort of prove that you're better than another one. And it has like standard PvP modes like duels, battlegrounds, and arena. So it'll have those for those people that like to engage in those systems. For the PvE content, it's going to be sort of a mix of both open world dungeons and raids, and also instance dungeons and raids. And instance just means like it's you go through like a portal, for example, and you're in like a separate zone outside of the main game world that is it's unique to you. Only your group makes progress in this dungeon and reaps the rewards from it. Otherwise, open world dungeons, it's the opposite. Like, these mobs or the dungeons are out in the open world. Anyone can go to them at any time. You probably don't want to go do them alone. You'll probably die. But, it's cool that they have like a mix of both. I think I would say instance dungeons are a little more, not hardcore, but what word am I looking for? Like, it's a little more high end, probably a little more specialized. There's going to be world bosses and monster coin events. The monster coin events sounded cool to me. Apparently, like when you control castles or zones, there's going to be like these events where monsters just spawn in and attack, kind of like a castle, for example. And if you have this thing called a monster coin, you can, what you get, it's like a rare drop from enemies and just other events. You can turn into a monster and join in and attack the castle. You can't actually destroy the castle. Like the castle can't be destroyed from the monster attack, which is good. But it's just a cool little event. You're just playing as a monster. I assume you get good rewards from doing this, and just it's a cool little thing, I guess. There's going to be 3 types of quests: event, task, and narrative. With player housing, the player housing looked very in depth. It looks like for people that like that sort of role playing aspect of MMOs. It seems like there's going to be both like an instance sort of house you can have, and also like if you build enough renown, or if you're like a mayor, for example, in this zone, you could literally take a plot of land and that can be your house that everyone sees in the zone. And the idea of that sounds like a lot of these things really ambitious, and it'll be cool to see that sort of thing. What else we got here? Artisan classes and professions. This is probably the coolest thing about the game to me, is that you can pick a class to start the game as. You level up, you get to max level, and then it allows you, to pick another class, and you can sort of specialize. Like it's like a 2-class system, and you can basically change your class depending what 2 classes you wanted to specialize in. One example was if you wanted to level up as a rogue, and then say you wanted to refine your rogue abilities, you could do a rogue again and become like a master assassin, which is really cool. Or if you wanted to be like a fighter and then sort of learn mage abilities, you could become a battle mage. So the idea of like, once you get to max level, your spells and your class isn't finalized. That's really appealing to me. Level cap will be 50. According to the video that we saw, it'll take about 45 days, playing roughly 46 hours to reach max level. And most people probably aren't going to be playing 46 hours a day. So it'll take even longer than that. So that's kind of cool. Because I feel like leveling in MMOs is sort of quick nowadays. So it'll be nice to see how this turns out. And one last thing I wrote down is the flying mounts. In a game like WoW, for example, everyone has flying mounts. They're everywhere. In this game, they're going to be extremely rare. They're going to be they're not going to be something you own forever. It's going to be like something you earn, and only like maybe a few people on the server or the zone will even be able to use flying mounts at all. So if you see someone on a flying mount, it's going to be like a big deal, and people are going to be stoked to see you, I guess. But those are pretty much the big highlights from the game. The game looks really ambitious. It is still early in development. I think they're expecting to have an alpha either at the end of this year or early next year. So it seems like it's sort of coming along pretty well. And I really just want to, get more impressions of this game, because it does excite me, but it does kind of scare me too. I don't know if I could handle, like, if this game, like, these things are all true and this game comes out like this, I don't know if I could play this game to the extent that I want to.
Man, imagine the bugs and the systems that think about this game. There's no way you can fully play test it without it being out in the wild.
Yeah.
So inevitably this game will probably be a just total mess initially,
yeah,
if these systems are even in place at all.
Mm-hmm.
But
well, hopefully
those that are interested, I mean, that get in day one can certainly refine it into becoming something pretty special. Because I have always admired bold ambition, those who dare to believe beyond what they think they're capable of, or what the general public may think they're capable of. So I love that this seems almost asinine in its ambition, but I'm really drawn to a lot of it. Admittedly, I have not really ever been into MMOs that much. I've always loved the idea of MMOs, but none of them have really grabbed me beyond RuneScape, if I'm being honest, for an extended period of time. And I think that was just the initial shock of, wow, this is an open world and there are real people in this world. But having played many video games since then that really aren't even MMOs, but just multiplayer games, open world games, I don't find myself drawn to that experience anymore.
Yeah.
But like I've said, there's always that part of me like that's dormant that feels called to play World of Warcraft, but I haven't done it, so I don't know why that is. But again, the ideas in the video that are explained thoroughly, and of course everything we've discussed here, all sounds very exciting. I mean, I like the idea of 1 minute engaging in a big epic battle with 500 people. And then the next minute I'm building up a new town with my fellow elves, like an elven temple or something, or an elven castle.
Yeah.
And then the PvP aspect is pretty cool too. Like, holy crap, here comes a band of 20 gnomes to fight our elven village. Like, that's not going to fly with us. You fight them off and maintain your territory. So very cool ideas. I mean, this very much, like you said, it kind of reminds me of Sword Art too. Like, it's a living, breathing society in this virtual world, which, let's be honest, thankfully, many people, ourselves included, have a lot of responsibility in real life to give too much time to an experience like this. But man, if I could just drop everything for a month and not have any responsibility whatsoever, I would love to just spend a lot of time in this world and see what it's like. But fat chance, man, fat chance.
Yeah, for sure. I think the coolest thing that this game is trying to do, though, is as time has gone on, I think, like especially like I have experience with WoW, it seems like developers have been taking more and more control away from players in terms of just simplifying systems, requiring raids, for example, not to be like you can match find into raids now. You can there's a group finder tab, like things you did in the game were a little more community driven back in the day. And I think a lot of people that used to play back in the day for WoW for example, it's they sort of like got, they stopped playing because, they sort of lost the social aspect for them in the game. And it seems like this game that, Ashes of Creation is sort of trying to appeal to those people, is trying to appeal to the most hardcore MMOer. So like I said, a lot of this stuff sounds really cool. And to answer your question, Epic, about will this be the WoW killer? Maybe. I mean, we can just keep saying that until it actually happens. I feel like every MMO that comes out says they're going to be the WoW killer, or maybe they don't say it, but media says it. People say it like this. Oh, this one's going to be the WoW killer. This one coming out now. This is it for WoW. But it's I don't know if WoW will actually ever die. Maybe WoW will kill itself.
WoW never dies. It's just missing in action.
If I have anything to say about it, WoW will never die. Okay.
Even if you're the sole player still grinding mouths all by your lonesome in that giant world.
Yeah, I'll get them. I'll get them myself, man. But yeah, thank you guys for sort of letting me talk about that.
No, of course. I'm glad Epic brought it to our attention. I still want to call him Irish Ninja because I've always called him Ninja. I know we haven't talked in a while, man.
I'm going to call him Apache. That's fine.
Apache. We got Bongles, Apache, many others. Hey, shout out to Pace. I was just browsing Discord last night, and I returned to the VR tab, which I do maybe once a year at this point. And Pace, man, still posting those VR updates, which he's a warrior and a hero for doing so. So shout out to Pace, man. I don't even know if you listen to the podcast anymore, but thank you for keeping VR alive on our Discord. And I don't say that sarcastically. I actually mean that. So
I have good memories of Pace. He was the guy that I always played Destiny 1 with back in the day. Like whenever I would get on, he would always be the guy that I would hit up to do strikes and whatnot. And I have some good memories playing Destiny with Pace. So shout out to him.
Pace was with us in our Destiny 2 raid video, which I love. He and Glorious Lemon and Trash Can Judo. No, Trash Can is a different name now too. Yeah. And I know Epic or Irish Ninja was with us in one of our Siege Let's Plays.
I've played Call of Duty with Epic several times. So
I think I've played. I'm gonna call him Ninja until he says I can't call him Ninja anymore. I think I've played Call of Duty with Ninja as well at one point or another.
Yeah, he's a
good times, man.
Thank you guys for Ninja. Thank you for the question, and Pace, if you're still listening, love to hear from you. And do you still just have PSVR, or have you broadened your horizons to the other VRs? I'm curious.
Man, I tell you what, I'd love to invest in a Oculus Rift S or something. And
I would love
not in the near future, but maybe at the turn of the year. I'd love to have a VR rig on PC to play from time to time.
I would love to get the Valve Index. I really want that.
Yeah, that'd be pretty sick too. Man, there's so many VR games I do want to try. Notably, I mean, I've played it, but it's not Gore or something. I can't remember what it is. It's those big sumo wrestling gladiators that you fight, dude. I've never laughed so hysterically when I was at PAX. I think it was 2017 playing that. Mm-hmm. It was so funny and fun to play. I want to play that. I'd love to play all the way through Half-Life Alyx. I still got to finish the first and second game, but at some point I'd love to play all the way through Alyx. And many others. I think that Walking Dead game looks pretty cool too.
Yeah.
So it's pretty good.
Yeah, VR would be fun. But Preston, we haven't heard from you in a while, man. How does this big MMO, before we move on? And before we move on to Last of Us, there's a couple of things I want to mention that I totally forgot. Those on my list for the news this week. That's pretty interesting. But Preston, any broad thoughts or specific thoughts about this?
Not really.
Idea?
I'm just very skeptical to the point where I'm not even looking forward to it. Until
you're just like, prove it, do it.
Exactly. It just seems like such a massive step for that genre that I feel like a more like well-known, like competent, or not that these guys aren't competent, but it just seems like something that should exist already if it can be done, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, have these people is this their first game they've ever made? So. Yeah, it's just like, yeah,
I mean, they have recruited a lot of developers.
I'm not quick to underestimate anyone in any field, because we've seen people that come from nothing and do miraculous things.
That's fine. I'm just saying, like, the scope of this is just insanely ambitious. So it's just like, I wish them the best of luck, and I hope they succeed and just, you know, flip the world of MMOs on its head. But it's just I just kind of want to see it first.
For sure.
So
I've long believed in the
like Garrett said, I don't even know if I have enough time in my life to do half the stuff that would even be in this game anyways. But definitely the concept is awesome, and you know, them trying to do something like this, I commend them, and like I said, wish them luck.
Mm-hmm. It's an inspiring story, the Underdog Development Studio taking on a project that is insurmountable. And I'll always give the Underdog the benefit of the doubt. And frankly, I believe in the Underdog in almost every situation. Even if they completely drop the ball, it's the courage to pursue it. Granted, I know the guy who's running the studio is quite wealthy and they've crowdfunded it and everything. But I like to believe in them and see what they're really made of. So... we'll see if that game ever comes out. So did they have any release window whatsoever?
Yeah, like I said, I think a alpha is supposed to be towards the tail end of the year, maybe next year. So
cool.
Get some player testing at that point.
It's giving me Star Citizen vibes.
I was thinking about that.
Kind of. Yeah.
Guys, I completely lied at the onset of the podcast. I did play a game this week and totally forgot about it. I played Tony Hawk on PS4.
No way.
Captured gameplay for the demo for COG. And dude, I had completely forgotten how much fun Tony Hawk is to play. Mm-hmm. And don't get me wrong, man, I love Skate. Still love Skate. Two entirely different skateboarding experiences. But Tony Hawk, man, I forgot how much it demands your full attention to play it well. And I forgot how skill-based it is. My goodness, man, your fingers are doing combinations nonstop while you're playing. It's one of the most engaging, stimulating video games I've ever played. And as a kid, I was too inept to realize that the whole point of the game was to set high scores and create all these combo lines and just try to go nonstop. As a kid, I was just skating around, like doing a kickflip or an ollie or like a 50-50 at most, and like maybe a 540 on like a vert ramp or something. And I had the time of my life as a kid, but I didn't understand what the goal of the game was when I was that young. But going into the demo and like immediately grasping what the point of it was, I was like, holy crap, man, this is incredible. Because not only does it feel, at least from what I remember, incredibly similar to the original game, but it looks beautiful. And it's weird. For some reason, YouTube has smashed everyone's gameplay, like heavily compressed it for some reason, like more so than most games I see compressed on YouTube. It is really stunning on PS4. Runs at a silky smooth locked 60 FPS. And I had to play. I mean, the music. I played a couple of times with the music on before I captured gameplay, and of course that enhances the experience. But everyone had to turn off the music for monetization on YouTube, and that really gave me the opportunity to really analyze the sound design. And of course, there's a lot of like cartoonish animation type sound effects in there, but there's also a lot of realism as well. And the mix of the two is just so awesome. It sounds so good. And
were there any standouts for the music?
It has all, like the classic soundtrack.
Yeah.
Like Goldfinger's on there, and what is it with the band? Killing with a Name. I always forget the name. That band from the 90s that's like good. I can't remember the name. I cannot remember them to save my life.
That 90s
Rage Against the Machine. Sorry, Rage Against the Machine.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, side note, their shows from the 90s are so sick at festivals. Have you ever seen their live videos from back in the day?
I have seen a live performance from them. They are insane.
Yeah, they were awesome.
Yeah, I wish I could have seen them.
But it has the classic soundtrack and their tracks from some of the other Tony Hawk games as well. And some of the systems and abilities from other Tony Hawk games are also present in this, but it is predominantly the first and second game's experience, of course, entirely remastered.
Yeah.
And like I said, man, just it is so stimulating to play because you constantly have to think about what you're doing with your hands. So I just loved it, dude. I mean, it's fun to watch too, because when you're watching someone and you understand how it feels to play and you see them do amazing combos, it's like inspiring and like makes me want to challenge myself to do more of that.
Yeah.
So, man, so much fun. I mean, if you played the original, of course, I'm sure you're going to love the remaster. But if you've never played a Tony Hawk game, I highly recommend playing it when it comes out. I don't even think it's a full $60. I think it's between 40 and 50. I don't know the exact price, but cannot recommend giving that game a shot because it was so much fun to play.
So you think you're going to pick it up when it comes out?
Oh, 100%. I was going to pick it up regardless. But now that I've played it, dude, I am so excited to play that. It's just very, very fun.
Yeah. Nice, dude. I'm excited to hear more about it.
Yeah. Aside from that, dude, this was, I shouldn't say shocking, but very surprising news. Is that Playground Games is looking for several critical roles to develop Fable that more or less spell that they have not even remotely begun to develop the game, aside from that animation they released.
Really?
Goodness gracious. So the first tweet was from a gentleman that said, "Hi, we're currently looking for a great lead script writer to work with us on Fable at Playground Games. In addition to those roles, they're looking for a lead audio engineer, lead AI engineer, lead game designer, animation director, and the script writer." They haven't even started, man. They're probably
maybe they just had a mass exodus.
It wasn't with this particular game, but this came up with another game. I can't remember. I think I was listening to like an Alana Pierce video or something, but she was saying just because studios there could be multiple leads doing something. I don't think it technically means like they haven't started anything. I think they're just looking to add to the team. There's no way that they haven't like started this game. This game's been in development for a decent amount of time.
Man, I certainly hope so. Not even just in terms of just wanting to play it, but when they say lead game designer, I mean lead for a reason. When they say game designer, I can understand if it's like lead game systems engineer or like lead art designer or something. But when they say lead game designer, that's a very broad term and not very specific.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, but lead AI engineer, you'd think they'd have AI nailed down from the start.
Yeah,
but
I guess it's sort of like the idea of
it's the lead at the front of a lot of these titles that concern me.
Yeah,
I wouldn't look into it too much. I mean, this game's already probably going to be far out, but I definitely don't think it at all this means that like they have not started it yet or anything. I think they're just continuing to hire.
Yeah, it's probably at least a couple more years out anyway. But we'll see. I just thought that was kind of surprising to read.
Mm-hmm. Interesting for sure.
What else did I have? I think that's all I had on my list. Something about Mass Effect Trilogy, I think, finally coming to consoles, or PS4 at least.
Yeah, I've been reading a lot about that. Apparently, you were able to pre-order it at the game stores over in the Europe. Yeah. And then the pre-orders were canceled like last week, but it's in their system. It's called like In7 edition or something like that. So it's like this thing freaking exists. Yeah. Like it's literally in these store systems and stuff. This should
have come out years ago. It should have come out before Andromeda.
Yeah, no, I agree.
These games are all available on PC anyway, aren't they? Okay.
Yes, they are. I haven't played the first one, but the second one is fine. There's a mouse cursor issue where like the sensitivity is like ridiculous. Like you have to set your DPI like actually on your mouse at like
that
1
sucks.
for it. I mean,
well, could you play with a controller?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'd probably just do that then.
Yeah. It's just an old PC game. They just have that, just kind of like the same issues I ran into playing Dragon Age Origins. It's just like they're just old, and it just would be cool for them to work better than they do.
Maybe look slightly better.
Yeah, for sure. I would love to play Mass Effect 1 with like an updated combat system to match kind of like 2 and 3. Because I definitely don't think the combat in Mass Effect 1 has aged that well. I know they can't change. I don't know if they could change all of it, because I know that, 2 added actually like an ammo system and stuff, whereas the first game your gun would just overheat and stuff. So I don't know to what extent they would change the combat in the first game, but I definitely hope that they could make all 3 of the games kind of like feel like almost like kind of like a one experience. But I hate that I just played not too long ago through Mass Effect 2 if this is actually coming out, because obviously I would have rather played this one, probably assuming it works and stuff. I would rather play this one. But yeah, it's coming at some point. There are too many fires for this not to be an actual thing. So
I will play this trilogy if it comes out. Mark my words. I will finally play it.
And this is my concern.
Man.
I wonder if Jacob should start with 2 instead of 1. Because my worst fear is that you start 1 is, even though 1 has a lot of good things about it, like it wouldn't grab you like 2 definitely would.
Yeah. So
I guess I think it's purely dependent on what they do to 1. If it was just like as of now, like, hey, like they're not doing a remaster, I would 100% recommend 2. But if they like fully flesh out or make the first one, update it with, like I said, better combat and stuff, then that might be a good idea to start with that one.
Why is 1 so much different than 2 and 3?
It's just it's a little jankier. Like 2 made it more combat wise, just made it so much better. They added an actual like cover button. Like it felt more like kind of Gears of War. There was like an ammo system.
Far more exciting story too than the second one.
Yeah. The first one is just kind of like still great. It just doesn't feel as good. It's been so long since I played it, but just 2 was the one that really, I think.
Jacob, I do what you did with like Witcher. I would maybe like watch either a Let's Play or just watch a recap of 1 and just jump into 2, because from what I remember, 2 kind of gives you a refresher anyway at the start of the game. And you sort of craft your character, because what's cool about 2 originally is that you could port your character from the first game into the second game. Like not only your choices as a character, but also your appearance, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So that's cool. But you can craft all your initial stuff in 2, but I think it gives you a refresher. And you can I think you can either accept your choices from the first game or completely redact them and make new decisions. But, and like Preston said, if they haven't changed anything at all in 1, I would highly recommend just start with 2, because that game is definitely the superior one in my opinion. But I often think about playing Mass Effect 2 again, because that game's awesome. And if you want to just get kind of excited leading up to playing those games, just listen to Mass Effect 2's soundtrack. It's so good.
Okay.
So is 3's, but 2 is beautiful.
Nice. I think we got one more story, right? Where am I?
Yeah, Last of Us 2, grounded difficulty, permadeath. Yeah. Preston's got a strong grasp on this info if you're down to share for us, Preston.
Have you played it, Preston?
Oh, I mean,
like the way it functions, like you told me yesterday, like permadeath has various versions and everything.
Oh yeah, there's just 3 modes to permadeath. You can have it for the entirety of the game. Like at any point in the game you die, you have to start the entire thing over. You can set it to a per chapter basis or a per day basis, which is cool, just to have the option. And then they of course added grounded mode, which is just like the insanely super hard mode. I can't imagine how scarce the resources in that mode are. just because on Survivor, I swear I never had anything. But yeah, it added 2 trophies, which kind of bums me out because now even though I have the platinum, I still have like 95% of the trophies now.
Yep.
And that irritates me. So
Better get to work.
I would have to. No, I can't, dude. I can't play that game on grounded. Because permadeath, I don't think is as bad as it sounds. Because I believe you can play it on an easy difficulty, so you could just set it on like chapter and run through it and beat it. But then I'd have to play through it again on grounded. To get that trophy. So the efficient thing to do would be to play it on permadeath grounded, but that just sounds like an absolutely agonizing experience.
I can't imagine
just
being on permadeath grounded difficulty and like I would be so terrified to do anything. Like I would just be sitting behind a wall, like thinking of every possible scenario that I could do to progress through this level, and then I would make the wrong choice and die.
Especially you get to the very end and it's just like, all right, I'm like almost out of this area. Then like a clicker comes up behind you, just rips your neck off. You have to do the entire thing.
Or like you're in the very last battle of the game and you die and that's it.
Yeah. I could just imagine the just broken controllers. Yeah. Imagine the fight at the end of the game and you just like mess up and I have to start for as long as this game is to do the entire thing over again. It's like insane.
I'd probably throw my PS4 out the window. It would just destroy it.
So it's I look forward to seeing some clips of people actually doing it on YouTube.
That would be
I do not want to take
an
on
amazing
that task.
stream to see someone
for sure.
Off.
I'm sure somebody will like speed run it and like make it look like the easiest thing of all time eventually.
Yeah.
But cool that it's added. Dude, they finally also added the ability to remove the film grain. Like, are you freaking kidding me? Yes. And I think I'm going to boot it up just to see what it looks like.
See, I've never minded film grain to an extent because it really covers like minor imperfections in the presentation.
No,
and just because I like film grain in general, but I get why people don't like it.
Yeah, it makes it look grainy, believe it or not.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just shocked they didn't have the option because if it's on, like, whatever, cool. Like I understand how some people like it, but that's just I think that's the first game I've played where there wasn't an option to turn it off. Which just with as many accessibility settings that were in that game, that's just insane that was like a patch that was added.
Mm-hmm. I think it's cool too. They added all those filters you can add to the game too, as well, just to make it a little different.
Yeah, that's going to be the ultimate difficulty is playing on permadeath grounded with the 8-bit filter on.
Yeah. Nice. Well, I might boot that up and check it out for fun. I probably won't because I had started my Survivor playthrough, but at this point, if I was going to play again, I may as well play on grounded because I didn't get very far in Survivor.
For sure.
I don't know, but I like what they've added. I think it's super cool. And I'm still holding out that some cool multiplayer mode will come out in the near future.
Well, I told you last night, apparently I'll check it out for myself, but I've read that there's like a DLC option on the main menu now.
Yep.
So I don't know if that's like they're just going to add some outfits or something, or if that could maybe be alluding to like an actual DLC, like something of substance. So we can only hope.
Yep. Well, gentlemen, that brings us to Ask IOG. Ask IOG is the part of the show where we answer your questions submitted through any of our socials at ItsObviousGaming, the Ask IOG section of our Discord channel, or emailed to us at itsobviousgaming@gmail.com, and always include the hashtag AskIOG if you'd like your question read live on the show. First one comes from Patrick Mulligan. He writes in, wait, I didn't, these are a lot of topics. These are all like full-on podcast topics.
Yeah, that's my problem with this question, Patrick. You list a bunch of like discussion points and you only ask one real question. So if you write in again, thank you for writing in, first of all. But, second of all, if you could actually write a question so we can read your question online. But he does so he mentions like PS5 or Series X speculation.
We've talked about that a lot.
We've talked about that, yeah.
Yeah, PS5 is better.
The end.
Thank you.
Hashtag not fanboys.
Clearly a very cheap Lockhart. That's console only, or rumors of a very cheap Lockhart console. That's been rumors have been around. You know, I think that is a thing.
That's been confirmed.
Has it been confirmed?
Not well. It hasn't been confirmed, but there's literally a box for a new controller that says Series X/S. So it's pretty much confirmed.
We'll probably be talking about it pretty soon, I imagine, if that's the case.
Yeah.
What can be done to evolve trophies and achievements? And we can touch on that if you want, Preston. Is there? I know you're the big trophy guy here among the three of us. Do you just like how they are now? Do you want something more?
No, I think they could be better. I think the achievement system on Xbox, I love how it tracks your progress in the actual achievement menu. Like if there's a trophy or if there's an achievement like kill 500 guys, like actually in the achievement, it tells you your progress there. I wish that on PS5 or the next OS update of whatever it is, I'm pretty sure PS5 is going to have a whole new operating system. So I guess in that it adds just kind of like more details like that with the trophies. But besides that, I think they're fine.
One really cool thing that WoW does with achievements is that you can literally like track one and it will appear on your like the side of your screen. So you can it'll update once you like make progress on it. So that's really cool.
That is cool.
So yeah, I would love something like that. Like even if you could like toggle it online in a game and like just have it on the side of your screen, I think that could be really cool. Like give players more options to see their progress if they're like chasing trophies. I think it could be really cool.
I agree.
xCloud and the future of gaming. We've talked about that a lot. Favorite Japanese games. Do you guys have any favorite Japanese games besides Ghost of Tsushima, which we're all really enjoying? Like for me,
like Japanese developed games?
Yeah, I think so. Japanese developed games.
I mean,
like FromSoft games.
Well, Ghost of Tsushima is not Japanese developed.
That's true. Yeah. Thank you for correcting me. Yeah.
No problem. I guess Persona.
Yeah. That's good.
Persona. Who says that?
Final Fantasy 7 is a banger. Love that game.
Yeah, it's okay, man.
Dude, I was telling Garrett, it's completely off topic, but I woke up yesterday and I was like, I'm going to run 10 miles. And I was on like mile 8 and I just needed a boost of just something. So I cranked the Let the Fight Begin song for Final Fantasy 7, dude. And it was like a shot of adrenaline went through me. It was the motivation I needed to get at it.
So you ran 10 miles?
I did.
Jeez, dude.
Nice I got so sunburnt too.
Yeah, you look a little pink.
Today. Yeah, it roasted me, but it took me like an hour and 45 minutes, I think.
That's solid.
So, but yeah, it was got a lot of good podcasts in and stuff.
Nice,
while I was going.
Maybe I should go run today. It's gonna be a nice day. I might do that.
Yeah, I think I'm good today.
I'm all run down. But Patrick, thank you for your question. Gary, you want to read our last one here?
Yeah. Linzodak writes in and says, how's it going, boys? This is my first question, even though I've been listening for a few years now. That's amazing. Thanks for listening for this long and sending in your first question. He says, I love the show. Absolutely the best video game podcast out there. That continually surprises me to hear, but we're so honored. He says, now then, I've recently started playing Persona 5 because you guys kept talking about it. I love the game, but the problem is I didn't realize that Persona 5 Royal was a better version of the original.
Oh, no.
I'm about 50 hours into the original game. On my 4th castle and have been considering getting Royal and starting over. Do you guys think that would be worth it, or should I just continue playing my original Persona 5 playthrough?
Dude,
I wouldn't do it. Don't do it.
Oh, man. If you feel like it, if there's like something inside of you that is just like that you feel like you could do it, I would do it. Because it's like you're not going to get the full experience now. Like you're going to miss a palace. You're going to miss all the new confidants. You're going to miss a different ending. And if you're like liking it as much as you're liking it, dude, I know it's taking you this long, but you could speed through it pretty quick with where you are now. Like there's a new areas available. I think you should do it.
It stresses me out, man. It's like 50 hours wasted.
It's not wasted. He's had a good time. And like I said, it wouldn't take him. I think you can see the difference now. Yeah, you could, because
you can make the choices that you didn't last time that you wanted to, that you just, you messed up.
And like they introduced the new characters early on in the game. The palaces are different. So it's not like you would be just like redoing the entire thing. Like you would.
Do you know how much
you would be doing different things?
They are, like the palaces? Like what? How are they different?
Well, they added a grappling hook. So there's like different levels you can go to and stuff. There are these seeds that you find. There's 3 seeds that you can find in a palace that give you a charm that you can get in mementos that boost you up pretty good. So those are added. The boss fights are different as well. There's a different new mechanics added in the boss fights, so those would be different. Dude, I think the more I'm talking myself into it, and I'm not even you, so I think you should do it.
there you go. Not Preston. Garrett, when do you think you're going to be starting Royal? You have a timetable?
No, I do not.
Okay. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Royal is on sale. I think Cheap Ass Gamer on Twitter I follow, they put out that the Steelbook edition is like $30 on something right now. So just check them out on Twitter.
Nice. Oh. Is that the last one? I gotta open up my notes again. Yeah, that's it.
Oh wow.
That is it for the show, Garrett. We are done.
Wonderful. Gents, it was a pleasure as always.
Of course. I love doing this every week with you. Fine, attractive, beautiful gentlemen.
Likewise.
Well, thanks, Jacob.
Yes.
Well, ladies and gents, that was episode 244 of the It's Obvious podcast. We love you, and we are so grateful for your continued support and listening every week and sending us questions and just the fun we have on Discord. We hope you all have a blessed and wonderful week and that you and your families and friends remain safe and healthy during these wild times. And as always, this podcast is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, YouTube. Follow us on social media to stay up to date on everything we're doing, which is hardly anything at all. But follow us there if you'd like. And we'll catch you next week.
Bye-bye.